if we take another guy from the Chiefs.
That would be nice. All right, who's the next one? So let's say we take him off, right? We're saving what, $8 million? I think we do find a replacement. You know, a couple of these guys that we mentioned could be had for under $8 million. So it's not bad at all.
Yeah, I mean, another one is Jared Cook for me. He was very productive over the year. I think he was often sometimes the go-to guy that Crabtree used to be.
I think he had the most yards than any other receiver.
I mean, that's embarrassing, really, for the Raiders. A tight end having the most yards, it shouldn't be like that. It should be, for me, Amari Cooper is an elite wide receiver.
Or at least he has the skills to be elite, you know?
Yeah, he's just not consistent in his play. But get Gruden in there, get a new coaching staff in there. Hopefully, will give him a new lease of life. And develop his skills. He's only young still, don't forget. So he was arguably like one of the youngest in his year group coming out of the draft. So he's got time.
He's still 24 years old.
Yeah, exactly. So he's
23 right now. He'll be 24 soon. He's still 23, which is amazing. How young he was.
He's done brilliant since he was drafted. But now it's that time to push on. He has to be more consistent. He should be the go-to guy. He should be that one who makes things happen when, you know, things ain't going right. He should be the one they should be looking for to step up, catch the ball, take the pressure off.
I like it. I think the new coaching staff drills it in him. I think the new coaching staff will do very well with him.
Yeah. But going back to Jared Cook, he's an interesting one as well, because although his stats were very good, the amount of money that we could save by releasing him is something around $5.3 million, with no dead cap money involved. So that could be a game changer in that scenario, because you could bring in someone like Jimmy Graham. I know he's 31, but he's still very mobile, still productive.
And he's not much older than Jared Cook. Jared Cook is 29 or 30 as well. So
yeah, and to be honest, he's not going to demand big money either.
Now the question is, can we get a higher production from Jimmy Graham next year? That would be the big question.
I think that our offense could suit him, but who knows until we know what sort of plays that they want to put out there.
I think if he is a cut, he might be a late cut. I don't see him going anywhere just because of the replacement value. Who do we have here? Zach Miller is a guy who's a free agent. He was really coming along before he broke his leg in Chicago.
Yeah. See, that's a tough one, because these guys who break their legs, it's very tough for them to be that same player. As we found out with Derek Carr with his injuries, it can take its toll and take its effect on a player. But
he was also injured first half of the season, so you never know.
Yeah, that's a tough one for me. I mean, we are in a position where we need to get people who are productive now.
True. What do you think? What do you think happens to him?
I think that he makes it to training camp, but ends up being released later on.
Yeah, let's see what happens. You know who I was really impressed with was the rookie undrafted free agent from Oregon. Now he blocked very well, but to get someone like Jared Cook, I think he'll be because John Gruden loves using the backs and tight ends. So I think Jared Cook probably stay for now at least. So that's might be money well spent by keeping him.
You're talking about Pharaoh Brown, I believe.
Pharaoh Brown, yes.
That's it, yeah.
Yep. Who's next on your list?
I have Lynch.
Ooh,
which is a tough subject. Topic. Yeah, I mean, there's rumours flying about that.
Yeah, with our show, we tweeted out that we heard from a source that he missed a meeting. We're just passing the news of what we've heard, but then Las Vegas Raider Review said they had other sources that confirmed that. It looks like that wasn't true.
I mean,
but let's see what happens. We never know.
His mum took to Twitter as well.
And his agent.
Yeah, so he is a very difficult character.
Yeah.
His unpredictable nature can be a good thing, but can also be a very...
And I think John Gruden knows, what he's dealing with. There are other reports that came out that said he already met with John Gruden twice already, so who knows? But I trust Gruden, he knows enough to...
Yeah, I mean, for me, if I love Lynch, I think he's been brilliant. And over the year, he was consistent in periods, in patches, but with the draft being literally full of high quality running backs, I feel that the money that we could save
absolutely
could be crucial to making sure that we tie down our really valuable assets, but also, if you can draft a running back who can be just as productive or if not more productive, then that would make more sense.
And you know what? The bigger thing is I don't think he fits John Gruden's scheme very well because he needs to be a pass-catching running back.
Yeah,
and he is not.
But the same could be said for I can't even pronounce his name, Jamiz Olawale.
Jamiz Olawale. Jamiz, when they've used him, he's done really well catching the ball out of the backfield.
But he's not been utilised recently, and for me, I think we'll keep him. Personally, I think he could be valuable, but I could definitely see us drafting a running back early and late.
To replace both of them, you're saying?
No, just to replace Lynch.
Yeah.
And I could also see one of Rashard and Washington being released. I don't think both get released, but one will surely get the cut.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know who it would be. I personally like Rashard better, but it's not a big difference for me.
So do I. It's like a coin flip, really.
Yeah.
It could go either way for me, but I would definitely start with early rounds 1 to 3 drafting a running back, and then potentially a later round, maybe like round 6, 7. I mean, it's just good to have good depth,
yes,
and good quality in that area of the field because you can pick up injuries, and it's just good to have different options.
There are even better options, such as Dion Lewis and free agency if he wants to go that route and draft the running back late only. That could work as well. Dion Lewis could be had for under $5 million.
Yeah, and he looked really, really good over the years for me.
Yeah, he's
definitely someone
solid.
I would take on my team.
He's solid. He's a solid runner, very shifty, and he can catch the ball in the backfield.
Yeah, I mean he's one of those players that you just look at and he can make stuff happen, and he did for the Patriots. To be honest with you,
he did
over the year. He had a solid year for me.
Who else is there? There's Brandon Oliver. Hey, look, Taiwan Jones is a free agent. Le'Veon Bell, I would not touch him for that price.
Nah, to be honest with you, I can't see him going anywhere anyway. I think he'll stay put. But I've got a few other free agent names that I've been looking at in various positions. There's Malcolm Butler, obviously, that we've touched on previously.
Well, let's talk about Malcolm Butler when we talk about Sean Smith then. So since he's
Sean Smith for me that's a 50-50 for me. It depends on the schemes that we decide to run.
Now, Paul Gunther, if you don't know much about him, he does cover 2. He has 2 guys,
which is a Sean Smith
exactly
sort of, scheme, but then he is going to be on a lot of money. I could actually see, as we previously spoke about, Sean Smith being at camp, getting cut, but then being signed on again for cheaper money, just to add that depth that.
Don't forget, he's being he has a court date. I don't know if it already happened, but he is he was under arrest, so he has some legal issues as well. What it could be is he gets released temporarily. After a court date, he gets re-signed for half the money that he was making.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about the money. If the money's right, it's got to be done, because the depth in that position is just staggering.
And that's the only reason I would want to bring him back, right? It's just because of the depth.
Yeah, I mean, TJ Carey, what's going to happen with him? I mean, he was arguably our best corner, but is he really that good?
And is he worth what he's going to get in the market? I think he gets a lot of money in the open market.
Yeah, I think so as well, but I wouldn't lose sleep over that, because I don't think really he's worth the money that would be paid. That's just my opinion. Other people may have a different opinion, but I just don't think that he is a starting corner.
No, maybe a nickel guy, maybe a dime guy.
Yeah, but for me, I think we can do better, and I think we need to do better if we are to push on.
He would want a lot of money as well, which is...
Yeah. I mean, there's some other guys here on my list that there's Morris Claiborne of the Jets.
We'll talk about Malcolm Butler again. I mean, what do you think he's getting in the open market?
Oof, that's a tough one for me. With everything that's gone on at the Patriots, that could impact on his valuation. Mm-hmm. I mean, if there's background, there's extensive background checks when these players sign for teams. It's not just out on a whim. They do a lot of research, a lot of talking. I think that Malcolm Butler, probably a $10 million corner.
Right.
Maybe around that. If the background checks are solid. If they're not solid, then I think it's considerably less than that. But based on what other corners are earning, I mean, Sean Smith's on, 8.5 million?
Yes.
I mean, Malcolm Butler is a better corner, for sure.
Absolutely.
So he's going to demand more money. But as I just said, the background checks, if they don't check out, he won't get that money. That's for certain. Unless there's a team that's really desperate. If there's a team that's really desperate and want to pay that money, he will get big money.
Yeah, I think he might be valuable, but not as much, just because of the down year he had. Even though he was an All-Pro before.
Yeah, he's proven and solid, but it just goes back to the way that the Raiders want to run their defenses.
Yeah, and Paul Guenther likes to be aggressive. He likes press man corners. Sean Smith is actually, I don't know, he's been getting burned a lot of times, but that's not his fault. I would blame the coaching staff for putting him in situations that he's not comfortable in.
Well, that's calling the plays for me.
Yeah.
If you notice that there's people matching up against him that he's literally got zero chance against, then why aren't you changing it? Why aren't you being proactive?
What I liked about our defensive coordinator, John Pagano. John Pagano had him follow in the Eagles game. Had him follow Alshon Jeffrey the entire game. Alshon Jeffrey was shut out. He probably had one catch, and that is about it. So if you put him in the right situation, he can be very good.
He can be valuable, but not for 8.5 million.
No, not at all. Would you pay him $4 million?
Yeah, I would. I'd give him $4 million.
Okay.
Purely just for the fact that on his day he can be brilliant, and
right. And if you don't want to
what does $4 million really get you in today's market?
Nothing really. Yeah.
No, exactly. And if you can pay a guy $4 million and he can be valuable, it's a no-brainer.
There's another name, Kyle Fuller. I wouldn't mind having, and he wouldn't be too expensive either.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard of him. Who did he play for?
So he played for Chicago. He was drafted by Chicago. He was average, but last year he did really well. He finally played to his potential because he was drafted.
Yeah. These players are interesting ones because they can suddenly just burst into that, burst into that potential and break it. and sometimes it's good to take players like that because they're on a high. You bring them into a